Hello, this is Agil from Academy Plus. So today we will be discussing the current affairs of 20th October 2022. Today we have a total of 11 topics and all the topics are taken from the Hindu newspaper. So the interested aspirants can download the PDF from this Telegram link. So shall we start or shall we move to the topics? The first topic is the states should have a uniform policy on the law and order. Shah. So Home Minister calls for the centralization of data on terror and other crimes. Each state to have a national investigation agency officer by 2024 with the powers to confiscate property in terror cases. States should have an uniform law and order policy as certain crimes such as cross-border terrorism and cyber crimes transcend regional and international boundaries. So, certain crimes such as terrorism does not have any border. So, in order to curb this uh, terrorism, states should have an equal law or equal policies on law. Then only it can be curbed easy, or it will create a barrier on catching these terrorists, right? So he is saying that each state should have an uniform law and order policy. Mr. Shah said that by 2024, to counter terrorist activities, each state would have an NIA. And actually, NIA is a central government institution, and this institution will be given extra territorial jurisdiction, means they can also confiscate the properties in the other states also. This power will be given to NIA, and NIA will be started in every state. NIA had been entrusted with the task of maintaining national terror database. NIA will be entrusted with the task of maintaining terror database. Similarly, ED will be entrusted with the maintaining a data set on financial crimes, and NCB National Narcotics Control Bureau on narco crimes database, right? So he also stressed to utilize this NAGRID, which is known as National Intelligence Grid, that was operational now. The NAGRID brings datasets of 11 agencies on a common platform. Also, our Home Minister has said that the nature of crimes is changing, right? It is changing because in past decades we don't have information technology, and now even the terrorists and the hackers are using information technology to spread crimes, right? And even they are using it to spread terrorism. So it is changing and they are becoming borderless. That is why all states will have to battle this by having a common strategy to formulate and implement this under the spirit of cooperative federalism, cooperation, coordination, and collaboration. So you can note down these words: cooperative federalism, cooperation, coordination, and collaboration between the central states is required. So we know that according to seventh schedule, there has been the central and state policy, central and state subjects, right? So this comes under the state subject. What law and order comes under the state subject. But here, in order to curb terrorism, the central and state should work together. So this is all about this topic. We will be moving on to the next topic. Coinage with the image of gods and goddess dates back to the Kushans. So here, India has a long tradition of coinage. Yeah, the first tradition of gold coins was released by Indo-Greeks, right? Indo-Greeks, and the bulk coins was released by Kushanas. In the Kushanas coins, where the first two images use the image of goddess Lakshmi. You know that these Kushanas people came from the area which is near to the China, right? So when they came to India, they Indianized themselves, right? They started to follow the Indian traditions. So Kushanas had the images of goddess Lakshmi, also with their own god who they worshipped on their land. And their god name is Ardoscho, the Iranic goddess of wealth. The Kushanas also depicted Oisho, meaning Shiva, moon, deity Miro, and Buddha in their coinage. You know, one of the famous Kushanas king known as King Kanishka, right? Emperor Kanishka. Even though he is an Hindu king, he greatly patronized Buddhist religions, right? So they had the images of Buddha also in their coins. Similarly, at the same time, Vijayanagara kings used coinage of Indian idols Harihara to introduce coins that had Brahma, Saraswati, Vishnu, Lakshmi, and Shiva Parvati. About the coins with the goddess Lakshmi issued by Muhammad bin Sam, known as Muhammad Gori, after defeating Prithviraj Chauhan in the Battle of Terrain. So he issued coins of goddess Lakshmi, right? After defeating Prithviraj Chauhan, he captured Indian lands and he also issued coins of the goddess Lakshmi in 1192 AD, the Battle of Tarai. Right. So these topics I have discussed detailing in our ancient history, and it is also in our page. You can refer to it. Right. So we will be moving on to the next topic. Bengaluru's floating trash barrier wins PSA's clean water body challenge. So see that topic, floating trash barrier. So as you can see in the image, this is something like a tennis net. Okay, so they will be installing in the waterways. So when the water flows, it will have some unwanted particles also, right? So these particles will be filtered in this net and clean water will be flowing afterwards. This is the use of floating trash barrier. So what is meant by PSA's Clean Water Body Challenge? We will be moving on to the details. A floating trash barrier FTB developed by Bengaluru firm and deployed in 8 cities across India to a trap trash. So this is a Bengaluru firm and it has installed in 8 cities in India. Has won the award known as Cleaning and Restore as won the Cleaning and Restoring India's Water Bodies Challenge conducted by Principal Scientific Advisor to the Prime Minister. So the competition was conducted by the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Prime Minister. Right. The challenges was conducted on the mission Waste to Wealth Mission, Swachh Bharat Unnata Bharat Mission under the office of PSA. So the firm's name is Alpha Mers Limited received a communication from Waste to Wealth Mission announcement that the FTB was selected as one of the winners in this challenge. So this Alpha Mers Limited floating trash barriers was selected as one of the winners of the challenge. The panel observed that the floating trash barrier could address the serious environmental issue of floating solid waste pollution, right? Which is plaguing India's water bodies. The FTB uses the natural flow of water to bring the trash to the riverbank where it is deployed. From there, the trash is manually or mechanically removed. So, yeah, it is filtered here, and they can use some machine to collect these wastes, or they can go in a boat and collect these wastes. This FTB is deployed in 8 cities. We have already seen that Alphamers has installed this FTB floating trash barrier in 8 cities. Those cities are Bengaluru, Chennai, Puducherry, Hyderabad, Mysuru, Tanjavur, Tuticorin, and Coimbatore. FTB is said to be successful in cleaning up the Kuvam in Chennai, Musi in Hyderabad. In Bangalore, it has deployed in some stop water drains and Nagawa and Darshali lakes. Right? So we'll be moving on to the next topic, the old but relevant script of Cuban missile crisis. So we know that Russia-Ukraine war is going on, and we don't see any signs of ending this war, right? So Ukraine, even though Ukraine is a small country, it is fiercely fighting against Russia, and Russia is also fighting against Ukraine. Ukraine has a support of Western countries, right? So we are seeing that there is no sign of ending this war. So Russia, in the name of denazification and demilitarization, it is saying that it is conducting a short-term military operation. But it has been 11 months since this short-term military operation has been started. So this is not the first occurrence between the Russia and the Western countries. Even though it is in Russia-Ukraine war, we can say it is a war between the Russia and the Western countries. This is not the first time. During the Cuban Missile Crisis, I think it was occurred during 1962, right? Similar type of things happened. What happened is this NATO was expanding, right? This NATO was expanding at that time. So some countries in the backyard of Russia started to join in NATO at that time. So Russia was feeling the heat of NATO. So in order to understand the heat which it is experiencing, what the Russians did was it deployed some missiles, nuclear missiles, in this ally country, which is known as Cuba. It is located to the south of the United States of America. Just imagine the situation, right? So, when it installed these nuclear missiles in the south of the United States of America, that is in the country Cuba, United States felt the heat. So, um, it is clearly a provocation. At first, United States provoked the USSR. Now USSR is provoking United States. So there was an environment of war. So even though there was an environment of war, the countries talked to each other and they solved amicably. Even though there was certain circumstances like when there was a military flight which was flying over the Cuba and USSR noted it and it shot down that military aircraft. Right? There was some circumstances, but the US government and USSR government spoke amicably and they solved that situation through back channel talks and other diplomatic talks. They solved that situation. So this theorists call this situation as stability instability paradox. Even though there was a great amount of instability, they through the diplomacy they changed that situation to stability. So what about Russia nuclear signal? So in this Russia-Ukraine war, it is not about the war with Ukraine alone. As I have already said, even the Western countries are along with the Ukraine. So in Western countries, particularly we can say it as a NATO countries. So in NATO countries, there are countries which have nuclear bombs. So now, in order to survive or in order to have a strategic approach, Russia is threatening Ukraine that it will strike with the nuclear bombs. So if this goes on, maybe we will have a nuclear war, right? So the best thing is that there should be diplomatic talks between the West and the Russia in order to avoid nuclear war. Certainly, I think the president of Russia will not be bluffing. Even United States is saying that um, the statements of Russia has to be taken seriously. So recently we have heard about the statement the dirty bombs. It is a type of nuclear bombs. So they have been threatening that they will be using the dirty bombs, but actually Russia have cleared the air that they will not use dirty bombs. Ukraine is saying that Russia will use the dirty bombs, and the world is concerned about it. Even the Russia's defense minister has spoken with our counterpart of Indian defense minister that they will never use dirty bombs, but they are threatening that they will be using tactical nuclear weapons. What is meant by tactical nuclear weapons? Tactical nuclear weapons means it is a small amount. They will be using small amount of nuclear, and it will affect only particular areas. But people in that area and people around that area will suffer a massive amount of uh, in every terms, health, environment, finance, everything. They will be facing a huge amount due to that tactical nuclear weapons. So the only thing that we have is talks through diplomacy. Even the United Nations is now paralyzed because the war, uh, the main competitors in this Russia-Ukraine war is Russia and the West, and the West comprises United States, France, Britain, right, and Russia. They are the main members of United Nations Security Council. Even China is supporting Russia. So almost every five countries is fighting. So United Nations is almost paralyzed. So also we have a G20 meeting which is around the corner now. So the current year's presidency is held by Indonesia. Western countries are pressurizing Indonesia that it will not attend the meeting if the president of Russia comes and attend this meeting. And but countries, but Indonesia is what I have to say is it is resisting the pressure and it is inviting both United States and USSR. It is the right way, right? Because through talks only we can diffuse the situation. Next year presidency is going to be held by our country, India. So both these countries are facing a huge amount of pressure. Western countries are pressurizing Indonesia and India to resist Russia from attending this meeting. So, literally to say G20 is divided. So, this is all about this topic. So, next topic is dismal case of slashing schemes and cutting funds. This is written by Varun Gandhi. He is an MP in Lok Sabha and he has won the constituency in Uttar Pradesh. So, over the past 3 years, over 50% of central government schemes have been discontinued, subsumed, revamped, or rationalized into other schemes. So, last 3 years, many of the schemes, central government sponsored schemes, have been stopped or has been made into smaller portion or has been categorized into various schemes. So, for example, women and child health, there are three schemes out of 19 schemes. That is Mission Shakti, Mission Vatsalya, and Saksham Anganwadi and Portion 2.0. So there is only now three schemes which is now in operational stage. Mission Shakti itself has replaced the 14 schemes which also include the scheme known as Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme. Similarly, in Ministry of Animal Husbandry and Dairy, just two schemes remain out of 12. Additionally, the ministry has entered the schemes which include dairying through cooperatives, National Dairy Plan. For the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, there are now 3 out of 20. Krishna Nadi Yojana, Integrated Scheme of Agriculture Cooperatives, and Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana. Right? So, here you can see the government is considerably reducing their schemes. Some says the reduction in the schemes is a notable achievement. Why? Because they are saying that government has achieved, so only they are reducing it. But in reality, it's something different, right? For schemes that exist, there are challenges such as funding cuts, disbursement, utilization of fund. As of June 2022, 1.2 lakh crore of funds meant for central government sponsored schemes are with banks. So when the government reduces the amount that has to be spent in these central government sponsored schemes, it will be on the banks, right? In the finance, so in the budget they will be allocating, but they are underutilizing these funds. So these funds will be in the government's deposit in the banks, and for that they will be receiving the interest, right? They will be receiving the interest. Through that they can use for any economic packages. So uh, not only they have reduced in Ministry of Women and Agriculture, even government has allocated certain amount in under the scheme known as Nirbhaya scheme. So this Nirbhaya scheme was formed for the safety of women in the public, but it has been largely underutilized. So, as per the FII, approximately 6,214 crore was allocated to the fund since its launch, but only 4,138 crore was disbursed. Of the amount which was disbursed, only 2,922 was utilized. 660 crore was disbursed to Ministry and Women Child Development, right? Yet various of women-focused development schemes across the states are turned down or ended. Farmers have not spared either. Even the farmers' subsidies have been reduced, according to Firoz Varun Gandhi. Last was actual government spending on fertilizers in FY 2020 reached 1,27,921 crore. In FY 21 to 22, the allocation was 79,529 crore. Similarly, in FY 22 to 23, the allocation was 1,05,222 crore. So we can see the difference. Here 1,05,222 and here FY 22-21 we have even greater amount here, right? So there was 35% lower than the revised estimates. Such budgetary cuts when the fertilizer prices have. So actually the time is now, and the government has to spend more on subsidiary, because the rate of fertilizers have grown up. Why? Because we are not receiving enough fertilizers. We traditionally buys these fertilizers from Russia, and since Russia is in conflict, the rate of fertilizers have gone up, and government has at this time have reduced the rate of fertilizers. Similarly, government has reduced the cost of mg in Narega, right? So here see the allocated budget of 73,000 crore when compared to 2021 to 22 of 98,000 crore. Similarly, you can see here to Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan, it has also have been decreased. So in every sector, in almost even in health sector too, now to healthcare workers, for accredited ASHA workers who was the first responders in during Corona times, there have been delays in their salary for up to 6 months. Regularization of jobs continues to be a struggle with the wages and honorariums struck at minimum levels. There is one more example. Even the biodiversity is being neglected. Funding for the wildlife habitat development under the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change has been declined, right? So from 165 crore to 124.5 crore to 87.6 crore. So year by year government is decreasing. Allocations for the private project Tiger has been also slashed from 323 crore to just 194.5. A pertinent question is meeting about climate change obligation in the face of funding cuts. So one should right size the government. So downsizing government schemes and cutting funding, one should right-size the government. After the GST, the center, after the GST, you know that many states have been in an bad stage that they are not receiving enough funds for running their own governments. Our public service require more doctors, teachers, engineers, and few data entry clerks. We need to build capacity for the efficient civil service to meet today's challenges, providing a corruption-free welfare department, running a modern economy, and providing public goods. Rather than having a target of your government schemes, we should raise our aspirations towards becoming a better public service delivery. Right? So we'll be moving on to the next topic: limits of pressure. This is the topic we have been seeing for recent few weeks. So, according to Article 124, it has been said that the governor can appoint the Council of Ministers on the advice of CM. So, similarly, on removing the Council of Ministers, government can remove any minister on the advice of CM. So, this has been a long-term fight, right? Even this all stemmed from the issue of vice chancellor's appointment by the state government, and we have also discussed the topic. What, according to UGC, VCs should have certain qualifications for becoming vice chancellor. A professor should have certain qualifications to become vice chancellors, but the state government has enacted its new law known as Universities Act 2015. As per its own rules, it has given certain rules for becoming vice chancellor, and government has appointed vice chancellor according to the Universities Act 2015. So there has been a tussle between the center and the state. And actually, for every state government universities, the chancellor is de facto the governor. So what he says is, without consulting me, how can you appoint the vice chancellor? So this is a long term fight between the center and the state, or we can also say it is a fight between the just a minute, I think bat is going to bit off. Just a second. So this has been a long-term fight between the central and the state, right? So we'll be moving on to the next topic, going green. So recently, Tamil Nadu government has appointed a governing council on climate change. It has been a appreciable step, right? Many states are even don't know what is meant by climate change, but Tamil Nadu government has taken a step, first step on appointing a governing council. So, ensuring sustainable development requires more than good intentions. But Tamil Nadu government has came out of it, and it has made some budget requirements also for the um, environmental protection. So here you can see some steps taken by the state government. The Ramsar site declaration for record number of ecological zones as a well-planned and implemented initiative. It has also declared this initiative to create green parks in 100 villages, and that would cater to local requirements also. Also proposed an elephant reserve in Agastya Valley in south and Dongong Conservation Park in Park Bay, a new bird sanctuary at Tirupur, and establishing India's first wildlife sanctuary for slender loris in Dindigul and Karur district. I think we have discussed this topic. So we'll be moving on to the next topic. Before that, only certain countries, that is 26 out of 193 countries, have made certain legislations for the environmental protection, and one of the countries is India. And out of India, only certain states have made legislations for the protecting environment, and one among the leading states is Tamil Nadu, because it has made a governing council for the environmental protection. So we will be moving on to the next topic. What is Turkey's latest disinformation law? So you know that now Turkey has created a law that will entail the disinformation. So Turkey is ruled by Erdogan. and he himself considered as himself as caliphate of the Muslim world. Also, he has made certain laws, and one among the law is disinformation law. This disinformation law. This disinformation law bill, it designates an offense to publicly disseminate fake news, misleading information about the country's internal security, external security, public order, and general well-being of the purpose for the creating or causing fear or panic among the populace. So this is all about. You can read this. This can be a case study for the means, right? So there has been also criticism. Criticism includes the Venice Commission, which is advisory body to the Council of Europe on constitutional matters, have pointed out unclear interpretation of certain crucial terminologies. Yeah. What the Venice Commission is saying that here the word disinformation does not give clear message or does not give clear information. The word itself not giving clear disinformation. So the state government can use this as a tool to arrest its opponents. Similarly, due to this, the Turkish government media has been ranked 149 out of 180 in Press Freedom Index. Its press is deteriorating. Its free media is deteriorating, right? So Press Freedom Index, it has been given rank 149, and also many journalists were arrested. Many journalists were assaulted, physical assaulted, and this law is also used for news websites, means online websites, and news aired on TV, newspapers. Usually laws are constructed for these two, but due to technological advancement, this also has been included in this one. So we will be moving on to the next topic. PM to lay foundation stone for C-292 295 aircraft planned in Gujarat on October 13. So previously, this C-295 aircraft has been constructed by a company known as Avers, and this company is located in UK. But due to our policies of Atmanirbhar policy, this has been constructed by our new company known as Tata Advanced Systems Limited in partnership with European Aviation Major Foundation Airbus. You know the Airbus. So we will be delivering 56 C-295 aircraft to be procured by India, and the total cost is 21,935. So it will have a capacity of 5 to 10 tons, and it can carry passengers of 71 passengers or 50 paratroopers or in any type of domains. It can also fly in an unprepared airstrips, means it can during war times we can't say the strips will be in a safe conditions. Maybe enemy can bomb the airstrips. So these flights can also go on unprepared airstrips. The first 16 flyaway aircraft are scheduled to be received by September 2023 and rest on August 2025. So shall we move on to, so this is the replica of C-295 aircraft constructed by TASL. So we will be moving on to the next topic. So today morning we have seen that our new that is our present Chief Justice of India, Justice UU Lalit, and other two judges of Supreme Court have given importance to the death row convicts. So here one of the main important sentences or one of the main consideration is we have to take psychological test of death row convicts. So this is today morning we have discussed already this topic, and the same subject is discussed here. So we will be moving on to the next topic. BCCI takes first step towards gender equality. So this is one of the most appreciable steps. Board raises match fees of women in international players. So when we join a company, we know that there will be junior, senior and most senior, right? So in accordance with the men's team, most senior will receive 15 lakhs. So similarly in women's team also most senior will receive the same amount of salary what the men's are receiving, 6 lakhs and 3 lakhs. So there are three types: 15, 12, 15, 6 and 3 lakhs per match. So this has been appreciated by many members. Our BCCA President Binny has referred it as a marquee decision on pay equivalent, and Secretary of BCCA Jay Shah also described this move as an important step towards tackling discrimination. So you can see the tweets by famous personalities: Sachin Tendulkar, Gautam Gambhir, Smriti Mandana, Hampreet Kaur, Anjan Chopra, Goswami, Mitali Raj, right? So you can see the topics. This is all for now. Thank you. If you have any doubt, please comment in the comment box, and please subscribe if you are not subscribed yet. Thank you.